Hello, everyone, and welcome to LA Rams Central. This is the 24th episode. As usual, we'll do a breakdown of the previous week's game. We will then cover all of the games that were played last week, some things that pointed out. I'm going to do an overview of each game coming up, and then moving forward, we'll wrap it up, of course, with the Rams and the current situation, in which I will include some pretty good information, I hope. Now, that being said, I want to go over a little bit last week's games, in particular our game, the Ram game. So a few things stood out to me with this game. I was extremely pleased with the way the Rams continue to press the ball downfield. But, guys, we knew they were going to have 8 people in the box. We have got to block better for Todd Gurley. I don't know right now what the answer is without seeing practice and knowing kind of how that can change. But Todd's going to have to be more patient. I did notice, and I'm not ragging on him at all, okay? But I did notice there were times he ducked into the hole he was supposed to go into, and there's a gaping hole to his left. If he just does a better job of feeling out the process, I think he's going to find himself springing far more runs. Converting third down is still challenging at times when it shouldn't be, and we have no way of putting the game away offensively. We don't have that closer, which Todd can be, but he needs to be given the opportunity to do it. The front five particularly, not even counting the tight end, need to create situations. Guys, I can't say it enough. We have got to quit handing the ball off to Todd Gurley out of shotgun. That is not who Todd Gurley is. That is not his strength. You are putting him at a disadvantage, and as a running back, I can tell you there are 3 fundamental problems with running out of shotgun. Slow movement. So lateral movement's number 1. You're moving usually at a lateral angle, okay? Not necessarily left to right, but you're running at an angle to a hole rather than running straight to the line of scrimmage and then reacting accordingly. He's not doing well doing it, and most backs don't do well doing it. Unless your front 5 are lawnmowers and they mow the lawn, you have no way of getting any penetration that way. The second disadvantage of it is you're forcing your vision to the side you're running to. You can't survey the entire field under normal circumstances because you can't. Once you're going in that direction to take the ball, your eyes are going in that direction, so you're now cutting off half of the field for the defense, and it's killing Todd Gurley. And the third biggest disadvantage is speed. You're not getting any kind of speed to the hole. You're running to angles, and you're not running to holes, and that's a tremendous disadvantage for any back. There's a reason Emmett ran out of eye. There's a reason Walter ran out of eye. There's a reason John Riggins ran out of eye or single back. Or even pro. At least you can kind of go towards those angles. I don't like it. I don't like it, and it's killing us. Our defense is playing incredibly well, and they shut the Cardinals down. Look, guys, at this point we're 3-1. We're in first place. There's a lot of things to be happy about. I'll tell you one thing. I thought the Rams could be here. I thought they would be 3-1, but I thought the Cardinals were going to be their loss. I'm looking at their schedule going, we beat the Cardinals? We have Buffalo, who's a winnable team next. Detroit, New York, Carolina, New Orleans. These are all beatable opponents. I'm looking at our schedule going, my goodness, is Fisher right? Are we talking 11-5, 12-4, 13-3? I mean, I'm not trying to get overly confident here. It is just 3 wins, but look at who we've beaten, people. We've beaten a mobile quarterback that many people think is one of the best young quarterbacks in football. We beat the Seattle Seahawks, one of the best teams in football. And we beat the Arizona Cardinals, everyone's darling, go to the Super Bowl with all of those receivers and that great quarterback. And that great defense, yet here we are. The 17-13 win, guys, is huge. It is absolutely huge for the Los Angeles Rams. And moving forward, there's a few things I want them to take away from this game. Turnovers can happen at any point. As long as you're awake, you can be opportunistic, and we saw that. Trust the guy next to you, because that's what the defense is doing right now. Aaron Donald is not worried about the double team because he genuinely believes Robert Quinn will come around the end and hack that sucker right out of the guy's hands, and the other defensive end will scoop and score it, whether it be Westbrook or whomever. Alec Ogletree, are you a fan yet? Because this is all I heard in the Cardinal game from the Cardinal announcer over the broadcast. Ogletree on the tackle. Ogletree on the tackle. Ogletree on the tackle. I mean, this guy's everywhere. Alex Barron gets a great pick. Trumaine Johnson is starting to really shine. E.J. Gaines played a decent game. I like this kid Hill. I keep saying that. T.J. McDonald is a... You guys see the hit he put on Downtown Brown? He knocked Downtown Brown into next month. That was well worth the penalty. I love T.J. McDonald. He laid the smack down all night long on Cardinal receivers. The only thing I'm sad about is Dante Whitner from Cleveland signed with Washington this week. Been really nice to get him and TJ and just assassinate people running over the middle. Guy can only dream. Now, the other thing I'm taking away from that game, besides our secondary improving and our defense trusting one another and Ogletree making tackles, is Quick is starting to become a factor. In a situation where Tavon continues to drop the ball and not show up, Kenny Britt continuing to be able to get open 3 yards downfield and no more than that, here's a guy getting open and making plays. Quick is rapidly, or I should say quickly, let's see how he did that, becoming my favorite receiver on this team right now. I like what he brings to the table. The guy just goes. And I'm really pleased with his performance. We need more out of the running game, guys. The front line has got to do its job because we're going to think big here. That's the element of our offense that needs to start showing up. And I would really recommend to stop running the ball out of shotgun. It's not Todd Gurley's thing. But guys, overall, obviously I have nothing but nice things to say right now. Our guys are playing at a high level. The defense is playing at an optimum level. We've got a lot of things going in our favor right now. And ultimately, what I want to see from the Rams moving forward is offensively getting Gurley out of gun and putting him back into I or single back. And I want to see the defense continue this being alert. They're getting balls off the ground because they're alert. And specifically, I'm talking fumbles. So I want to see that continue. That's a wrap for the first part. We'll do the second part coming up next. All right. So last week, just so you guys know, I went 11-4 in my picks. The Cincinnati pick, I called it. They won by 2 touchdowns. I saw that coming from a mile away, and I was glad to see Cincinnati play at a high level against an opponent they needed to beat. Guys, I'm done picking against Jacksonville in London. I'm done. Once again, they win in London. It's like the 8th game in a row. It was one of the 4 that I got wrong. I didn't think Indy was going to play as poorly as they did, and Jacksonville, they just play well in that stadium. I don't know what the deal is. Carolina at Atlanta. As I said, I felt Carolina was an overrated football team last year and going into this year. Did I expect 300 yards receiving from Julio Jones? No, but guess what? You were 36 yards short. From the record, Willie Flipper Anderson of the LA Rams, 336 in 1989 in a Sunday night game against the New Orleans Saints, a game in which the Rams needed to win and did, 20-17 in overtime. Thank you very much. 505 yards passing seems to still be a record, which was Norm Van Brocklin in the 1950 season with, again, the LA Rams. But 503 is nothing to snicker at. Matty Ice, Julio, they destroyed the Carolina Panthers. And kudos to the Falcons. They looked great in doing it. So Atlanta wins, and I kind of saw that coming. I also saw the Raiders coming, although I don't know about 1 point. That fourth quarter was crazy. But he showed once again just what kind of a talent he really is. So David Carr, outstanding in the Raiders' victory over the Cleveland Browns. Over the Baltimore Ravens, the former Cleveland Browns. Big win. The Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears. I didn't think Chicago was going to win. Chicago did. There's the second one I messed up on. Chicago won a close one, 17-14, led by Hoyer. And the Bears did well enough to win. And Detroit, once again, continues to flounder. Not a fan of this football team. Wasn't a fan of either one of these. I called it the Toilet Bowl in Week 4. And it was kind of a stinker. So Chicago wins. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter for either one of these teams. Buffalo at New England was the third one I missed. Who saw Buffalo winning this one 16-0? I didn't. I stopped. I told you guys last week, I'm no longer betting against Bill Belichick. I don't care if a broomstick's under center, he's going to win. Well, apparently a broomstick was under center, and the Patriots didn't win. Horrendous. 1 for 12 on third downs. 1 for 12. Buffalo wasn't any better. They didn't light the world on fire, so I'm not that scared going into this game next week. But it was a good win for Buffalo nonetheless, and one that Rex really needed to win. Tennessee at Houston was every bit of the game I thought it was going to be for Houston. I was a little disappointed the game was as close as it turned out to be. I thought Houston, who came up early, 14-0, I thought they were going to roll as usual against Tennessee Titan football team, but they didn't. It was a barn burner to the end. And again, I credit coaching for that screw-up. But the Texans did nonetheless win the game far closer than I had anticipated. Seattle at New York. I'm sorry, guys. I can't pick the Jets in any week. I didn't think the Seahawks were going to lose this game. The Jets are just a bad football team. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is at this point. They're just not good. Cleveland at Washington. I knew this was going to be a game that Washington needed and could really get healthy quickly. And being 2-2, it goes a long way. It was a must-needed win at home. It was a good win at home. And I don't understand why the NFL is finding Josh Norman for the bow and arrow. This is not an offensive gesture. Everyone does it. I don't know why this is all of a sudden a thing, but apparently it's a thing. Okay. It's a thing. It's not a thing, but it's a thing. So, you keep being you, Josh Norman, because you're kicking butt, and the Redskins needed this win, and they're going to need next week as well. Essentially a sub-home game this week, and I'll talk about that later. The Rams in Arizona, guys, I just had a feeling after the way we played against Tampa Bay, we were going to beat the Cardinals. We beat them there last year, and I felt going in, if we could improve the running game, if our defense could continue to play well, that we would win the game. Our defense played well, our special teams played well, our offense played good enough, and that was the recipe for victory. So, a 17-13 victory for the Rams is good enough for me. We are now 3-1, and I'm glad to see that they were able to pull that one out. Denver at Tampa, I have a correction to make here. I actually picked Denver in my initial pick. In my broadcast, I picked the Buccaneers. I said it was my upset pick of the week. I thought better of that on Friday when I was actually doing my picks and went, Denver's going to win this game. There's no way. And I will be picking Denver again this week, with or without Trevor Siemian, for that matter, because Denver has made a believer out of me, and they certainly lit up Tampa Bay, much like we did. New Orleans at San Diego, I picked the Saints, and that turned out to be the game of the week, really, if you're an offensive person. Well-played game by New Orleans. They win it in the end. They get a great turnover by their defense, and they're no longer 0-for. I think I said earlier in the show they were 0-4, but 1-3 and 1 point away from being 0-4. It's an improved football team, but defensively they still got a lot of problems. Dallas at San Francisco. The Niners went up 14-0 early and then blew it. And nothing better than seeing the 49ers blow a 14-0 lead at home and get beat, which can I just say I was very excited about. So Dallas goes in and lays the whooping stick so to speak. They beat them, I think, by 10. I'm not going to call that a whipping stick. The next game was a whipping stick. This one was just kind of a slapping them around a little bit, saying, hey, this nonsense of 14-0 off. We're better than you. And they proved it. Well, Kansas City at Pittsburgh, guys, I was so pumped to see this game. And after about 6 seconds of the first quarter, I was like, oh, dear God. Oh, my God. It wasn't even close. Pittsburgh brought the whooping stick. They brought the woodshed. They grabbed the Chiefs by their hair. They pulled them into the shed, and they whooped the dog pee out of them. It wasn't even close. I knew Pittsburgh was mad. I didn't think they were that mad. And boy, the Chiefs are smarting. But there's time. I still think Kansas City's a good football team. They're 2-2 now. And now it's Kansas City's turn to open up the whooping stick on somebody. So we'll wait and see how that happens. New York at Minnesota. Oh, you Viking fans. I'm sorry, I can't buy your team. Sam Bradford. McKinnon, not the wide receiver of the 85 Bears, but your running back. Khalil is gone. I mean, there's too many holes for this to possibly continue. Yet, there they were on Monday night, beating the dog pee out of New York, and I'm sitting there going, how? How is this possible? Congratulations to the Vikings. They played a great game. And how it's possible is defense. It's the same way we're winning without an offense. I fear that we are embarking upon the 1970s all over again. Dallas is 3-1. Minnesota is 3-1. Los Angeles is 3-1. Pittsburgh is 3-1. Oakland is 3-1. The Fab Five are back, and they're better than ever. Minnesota doesn't impress me, but there they are in first. There they are in first. So, I tip my hat to the Minnesota Vikings. So, do some quick predictions and wrap up the second edition. Arizona San Fran tonight. The game might actually already be on. I got the Cardinals beating San Francisco. I think they're going to run David Johnson all night long, all over the number 32nd ranked rush defense. No Bowman. It doesn't matter if Gabbert's in or not. The Cardinals are rolling. Washington at Baltimore is the game we talked about. It's a sub-home game for the Redskins. It's in Baltimore. It's in the state of Maryland. I think the Redskins win on the road. Baltimore's got to prove to me if they can beat the good teams. They beat the bad teams. Now they got two good teams in a row coming in. So I think Washington gets back over 500 and this becomes a conversation again. New England at Cleveland, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. You would think goodbye Cleveland, right? It's the one team Belichick struggles with. I'm picking New England. But guys, don't be surprised if Cleveland pulls an upset here. Or at least is in the ballgame to the very, very end because he struggles with Cleveland. And you're going to hear all kinds of madness. Oh, it's rust, it's rust, it's rust. It's not rust, it's Cleveland. They have Belichick's number for whatever reason. But I still think New England wins. Philadelphia at Detroit. Philadelphia rolls the Lions. This isn't even going to be close. This could be like a 58-35 kind of game. Wentz will go 4-0, and the Eagles are well on their way to a spectacular season. And who would have thunk it? Chicago at Indy. I'm picking Indy. I don't see the Colts losing, and I don't see Hoyer winning 2 weeks in a row. The Colts defense is bad, but they're not that bad. And Andrew Luck has got to get some luck somewhere, sometime along the way. Tennessee at Miami. It's time for the Titans to win, and I think they will. Houston at Minnesota. One more time, I'm picking against them. One more time. I'm going Houston over Minnesota, but I think this is going to be a barn burner, and I think it's going to come down to the final play of the game. I hope it's not another 31-10 Viking victory. But that's where I'm at. Jets at Pittsburgh. You thought Kansas City got whooped? Wait till you get a load of New York. Jets don't have a chance to win. Bills at Rams, we'll cover in a minute. Atlanta at Denver, I'm going Denver. And I like Atlanta, but I'm not picking against Denver. They made a believer out of me. They're at home. The Falcons lose here. Cincinnati at Dallas, I got the Bengals beating the Cowboys. No question in my mind the Bengals beat Dallas in Dallas. And I think Dallas drops 3-2. And I think Cincinnati improves to 3-2 because I think this game is last week's Kansas City-Pittsburgh game. I just hope it doesn't turn out that way. I'm excited to see this game. I'm DVRing it. I want to watch it. I think it's two good football teams, and I'm fascinated to see how this whole thing unfolds. San Diego at Oakland, Raiders. Not in a rout. It's a rivalry game, but I'm picking the Raiders. New York at Green Bay, the Sunday night game. I'm going to pick Green Bay because they're home, but I won't be surprised if New York gets a win here and goes to 3-2 as well. And the entire NFC East is over 500. I think it's going to be a real competitive division. But I got Green Bay winning here. The Monday night game comes down to one simple thing. Does Cam Newton play? If he plays, Carolina. If he doesn't, I'm picking Tampa Bay, even though it's in Carolina. It'll be a tough one. When we come back, we'll do the Rams game against Buffalo, do the breakdown, and we'll wrap up the show. All right, so we are going to do the third and final installment here. I want to do some housekeeping before I move on. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the LA Rams series. So when the Rams were in LA against Tampa Bay, they had a record of 10-3. In St. Louis, they had a record of 6-5. I'm including in that 10-3 record. By the way, guys, in that 10-3 record, I'm including the win last week. Okay, they were 9-3 going into that game. They're 10-3 after. The all-time series against Tampa is 16-8. So they were statistically tied with the Cardinals at 37-2. Now they're 38-7-2 against the Cardinals. So they have a winning record against the Cardinals. They have a winning record against the Niners. They have a winning record against Seattle. They have a winning record all-time against Tampa Bay. All good news. So I want to keep people in mind with that. Now, I haven't given you the 49ers or Seahawks all-time series. I'll wait until we go into Seattle, and I'll update that and when we're home against San Francisco in week 17. The Buffalo series is interesting. All-time against Buffalo in LA, we were 3-3-0. Beat them 3 times, lost to them 3 times. In St. Louis, as usual, we had a losing record. We were 2-3. So all-time, we're 5-6-0 against the Buffalo Bills. And that includes the 1989 23-20 game that we lost in overtime. And I lost some tears in that game, too, as a 10-year-old boy, watching my team get defeated in the waning moments of a game. Very disappointed. Buffalo. So, here's the deal. To beat Buffalo, the path is pretty clear. You've seen a mobile quarterback in Jameis Winston. You've gone against a mobile quarterback before in Russell Wilson. Tyrod Taylor is a little different. He'll run more. Maybe because he's younger, maybe because he has nothing to lose. He will run a lot more. We did a good job, not a great job, holding down David Johnson. We were fortunate to miss Doug Martin. We did not stop Carlos Hyde at all. And Seattle has no running back. I'm a little worried about LaShawn McCoy. He can gash you for big yardage. So the Rams need to know where he is at all time. What I want the Rams to do is pass rush through the man. So let me explain what I mean. There are 3 types of pass rushes, right? You pass rush to a point. You usually do that with pocket quarterbacks, guys that are stationary, that aren't mobile. You figure out where their drop back is, and you rush to that point. That's what the Rams did last week against Carson Palmer. You know he's not going to go anywhere. He wants to get back to his spot, survey, and release. And you want to get there at the same time and disrupt him, right? That's rushing to a point. You then also rush to angles. Okay? This is what you do, for example, against read option offenses. Quarterbacks will go to an angle. They're either going to hand off to a guy in an angle, or they're going to then run to an angle, or they're going to boot to an angle. You want to rush to those angles. Now, sometimes it's a guessing game, but the idea is when you're pass rushing, based on the formation, based on the film study, you kind of already know where they're going, so you rush to those angles. Against Tyrod Taylor, you want to rush to the man. You don't want to rush past him, because if you rush to an angle, he'll juke and jive. If you rush to the point, he'll step up and move around. If you rush to the body, meaning where he is where you go. So if he's moving and doing all this stuff, you're rushing to him. You're not rushing to where you think he's going to go like you would when you rush to an angle. Tyrod presents a very difficult challenge because he commands enough attention that Shady slips out on the backside and burns you for big gains. Rush to the man and know where Shady McCoy is at all times. If you do that defensively, Buffalo's done. They're done. They'll throw you the football. They'll hand you the ball on fumbles. But if you don't, just ask the Arizona Cardinals how badly you can get beat. And defensively, those are your keys because you will create turnovers. The Rams have to continue to create turnovers. Offensively. Guys, it's the same it always is. You've got to run the ball. I like that they're throwing deep. They need to continue to throw deep. I've been ragging Tavon Austin a lot. Are you ready? Tavon gets 2 plays catching over 30 yards. And one of them is going to be for a touchdown. That's my prediction. 2 plays through the air, over 30 yards, 1 for a touchdown. I also think he's going to score a touchdown on the reverse. I think he's going to burn him that way. So I see 2 touchdowns for Tavon Austin. We need to get 1 from Todd Gurley. And honestly, guys, what we need to do with Todd Gurley to loosen this up, and we did it a little bit last week against the Cardinals, we need to throw him the ball more. Get him out there in space. I don't know why Boris is using him as a blocker. He is your best player. Get him out of there. Throw him on a swing. Throw him on a screen. Put him in the slot and put him on a route. If you're going to go empty, use him. Use him. We need to get him the ball more. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I think Gurley's going to get another touchdown. I don't think it'll be on the ground, but it won't surprise me. But it's either going to be on the ground or through the air, but Gurley's getting in the end zone. If the Rams use Gurley through the air, they will blow Buffalo out. It won't even be close. If they continue to try to pound him into the wall and throw deep to other people and use him as a run blocker, we're probably going to score 24-17 points, right around there. If we get him involved in the passing game, I think we could score 31 points. Maybe even 38. If the defense, and who knows, maybe the defense contributes and we score 45 and put a 40-burger up on the board for the first time in gosh knows how long. So I really want to see that. I want to see them involve him in the passing game. My prediction for the Rams is really simple. I see a 31-24-10 kind of game. Buffalo's good enough to get in the end zone, but I think they're going to give you the ball. I think Tavon gets 2 touchdowns, whether they're both through the air or 1 in the air and 1 on the ground, I don't know. But I think he gets 2 touchdowns, which would be a career high for him, I think, or pretty close to it. I think against Indy he had 3, but it'll still be a good game for him. Todd, I think he's going to get a touchdown. I just don't know if it's through the air or on the ground. Guys, I'd love to see something happen defensively. A pick 6 again, a fumble recovery for a touchdown again. I think that's too much to ask for in 3 straight weeks. I think what we'll more than likely see from the Los Angeles Rams is a lot of turnovers, maybe 3 or 4, and then the offense has got to convert them because they can't rely on the defense put on there for them. So I'm thinking 31-10, 24-10 kind of game for the Rams. We'll see what happens, but I have something to show you. I'm excited. Can you guys see it? Kind of hard to see in this light. There it is. I got my tickets. 3 tickets to the LA Coliseum against the Buffalo Bills. If you guys want to say hi to me, I'll tell you where I'm sitting too. Section 11, row 19, seats 10, 11, and 12. So I'm at the very top of the upper deck. So if somebody wants to come find me and meet me in person, come find me. I'm excited. Just tell me you're a big fan of the show, and we can shoot the bull for a little bit before the game starts because I'm planning on getting there pretty early. But yeah, I'll be in, again, that is section 11? No, 1L, I'm sorry. Section 1L, row 92, seats 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to be there with my brother-in-law and my father. So very, very, very excited. Got my tickets printed today. Put them in a nice little envelope. I'm going to the game, baby. First time ever going to the LA Coliseum. I got a lot of games of them in the LA Coliseum in years past, but guys, to actually be able to go there and experience it and be a part of 93,000 strong cheering on the blue and gold to victory, it doesn't get better than that. So I'm excited. It's a celebration. To the LA Coliseum I go. So I will have a special presentation of the game. I'll be filming on my camcorder, and I'll have my brother-in-law and my father film me too, so you kind of see my initial reaction. Guys, I'm excited. It's going to be a great game. I think the Rams are going to win. I think we're going to be 4-1. But I think I speak for all Ram fans. Even if they don't win and we're 3-2, damn it, we're still over 500. And it's still a game at the LA Coliseum. Greatest experience of all time for me, from a football perspective. Greatest experience for me all time is seeing my kid born and my wife saying yes to my proposal. That's 1 and 2. 3 is this experience that I'm about to embark on October 9th. So that's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Episode 24 is over. The 25th episode will not be a show, but will be a special presentation. I hope you guys enjoy. And again, if you want to see me, more than welcome to meet you guys. Come up and greet me. And hopefully I'll see somebody at the game. But otherwise, feel free to comment. And that's a wrap. Go Rams!